when we're reading and studying and dealing with Ephesians and Galatians, it is reading about marriage and studying about marriage the most important thing that St. Paul is writing us and letting us see is leadership and submission. And he always comparing this to the Lord, to Christ, because Christ is supposed to be our role model, what we're supposed to example ourselves after, not our uncles or aunties or someone that we found to be important. But these things are good to look at, but we are supposed to role model ourselves after Christ. When God created woman, he brought her from Adam's side, not the head or the feet. There's no dominance. He tells man, you are the head. You are a leadership role, but you are the head. You are a leader, but you're not the leadership of it all. I am the leadership. I am the one that you're supposed to follow. You are a lead, kind of like when you're on your job, you have the supervisor and you have the worker. You have the CEO of the company, and then you have people that are just in the position of the company to guide it and run it. This is what God is describing to us. He's saying, look, you're the worker. You are a lead on the floor. You are a lead on the floor, but yet because you are a lead on the floor, I am your supervisor. I am the man over you to tell you what you're doing wrong and how it should be done. Submitting is example of what God tells us, that submitting is like submitting to the Lord. He's always comparing it to him, because when Christ goes into the Garden of Gethsemane, he goes in to submit to the Lord. He goes in to submit. When he's standing there about to be crucified, and he asks him, he says, are you the king of the Jews? Jesus looks at him and said, you have said so. Submission. Showing submission, because he could have easily stepped into his glorious robe and said, yeah, I am the king, but he submit. He said, you have said so. To lay down his life, to submit. He often said, he husband, loved your wife as I love the church. He used the church as a woman. I provide for her. I protect her. I am the leader of her. I guide her what she needs to be. He refers to the church as a woman. There are times in the Bible where you will see Sarah in Genesis where she advised Abraham to do things. And God would, when you go to Genesis 14, not Genesis 14, I'm sorry, but when you go to Genesis 17, you will find it in there where Sarah advised Abraham to get rid of Hagar and her son. And Abraham wouldn't listen. And then the Lord speaks to Abraham and said, listen to your wife. He intended it to work together. Because when he deals out the punishment to when he deals out the punishment to Eve, he tells Eve, your desire, even though your desire is to your husband, you will try to rule. You will try to have authority. I know you care for your husband, and I know you love the man you're with, but you are continuously going to fight a sinful nature to dominate. You are going to continue to fight a sinful nature to dominate. And he tells the man, you're going to work hard. You're going to be working hard. You're going to be busy trying to provide. But he tell him, don't treat your wife harshly, meaning don't get bitter. Don't get bitter in your works. Don't get bitter in how you are providing and getting. This is why it's so important for the wife to submit to. It's not like I'm submitting dominantly to you. I'm just trying to not bring harshness to our marriage or to our relationship. Remember when Job is going through the thing and his wife comes to him and said, are you still praying to God? Have you cursed God and died? And Job looked at her and said, does not God give us good things and bad things? We're both going through the same thing. I'm hurting just like you're hurting. It is meant to be a union thing. I know. We want, it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing thing. It's a thing that God has, it's a marriage is a creation that God has made for us to enjoy, to be fruitful in, to flourish in, to have wonderful relationships in, and just vast love in. But we want all the things without the blessings. I mean, we want all the blessings without learning that it has rules to it. We want all the blessings and all the good stuff without following the rules to it. Jesus tell us in the Bible and in the book, I love my disciples. I love my disciples, but yet at the same time, I have to discipline them. I discipline the one I love. And yet at the same time, I show love to the ones that I love. Because you can't do one without the other. That's like me walking into my room telling my son, hey man, you're going to be great. You're going to be wonderful. You're going to be beautiful. You're going to have a great career. You're going to do a lot of awesome things. Yes, this is true. But yet at the same time, I cannot sugarcoat that, man, you're going to go through some rough times. Because if you ever hit the rough times and be not prepared for them, then you won't get through them. And this is why it is important for us to know. It is important for us to know the leadership and submission role can be reversed from time to time. Get behind me. This is what he tells Peter. When Peter tells him, no, Lord, you're not going to the cross. No, get behind me, Satan. Leadership. Leadership. Throughout the whole walk of the crucifixion, God is showing us submission and he's showing us leadership. He's showing us submission and he's showing us leadership. Because he is what we should model in our marriages and in our lives. He is meant for our marriage to be a 3/4 chord. Anything that was added to our marriage or added to a union that was not of God, he told them to get. Like the serpent. Serpent was not a part. Lot to Abraham was not a part of that union. David to Bathsheba and Aaron was not a part of that union. Because God always referred to Bathsheba as a royal wife. Never called her David's wife. Because it has to benefit both of you. It has to benefit both. Wait a minute, man. You saying we can't have friends to ourselves? Yeah, you can. But your friend has to be a tied to the family. Not just to you. Because it brings conflict. Abraham had to get rid of his nephew, the toughest thing he probably ever had to do. Because it didn't benefit both of them. The serpent talking to Eve. Now he ain't even saying 2 words to Adam. Conflict. It's time to get rid of Hagar. and her son. Because she don't benefit both of us. She just benefiting you right now. Abraham, conflict. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Marriage is wonderful if we are willing to follow the rules.